This is Autoline Daily, reporting on the global automotive industry. Hi, I'm John McElroy. It's February 5 of 2019, and now to the news. President Trump will be giving his State of the Union address tonight, and General Motors is probably going to be in his crosshairs. Two UAW leaders from two different plants that GM is closing were invited there tonight by Democrats. But it wouldn't surprise us if Trump calls on them to stand and be recognized. The UAW and the Canadian union Unifor have put out videos criticizing GM for closing plants in the U.S. and Canada, but expanding production in Mexico. Unifor is even calling for a boycott of GM products made in Mexico. Yesterday, GM also began laying off 4,000 white-collar employees, and Trump could attack that as well. Well, here's our Autoline insight. While it's true that GM expanded production in Mexico, it's only gone up by about 160,000 vehicles since 2013. That's about half of one assembly plant of production. So even if that Mexican expansion was canceled, GM would still have to close plants. Here's the issue. GM has 18 assembly plants in North America, but it only needs 14 plants to make all the cars and trucks it can sell in North America. So it's damned if it does and damned if it doesn't. We also think GM got caught out by the government shutdown, which postponed the State of the Union address. No doubt GM originally planned to announce thousands of white-collar layoffs a week after POTUS made the SO2. But with the shutdown, GM ended up making that announcement the day before. Well, Geely just pulled off a major coup. It stole Jaguar's chief designer, Wayne Burgess, who will become the head of design and vice president of Geely's newly established UK Design Center. Geely Design UK will expand to around 100 designers and staff within the next 5 years and will create vehicles for several brands in the group, including Geely, Lynk & Co., Proton, Lotus, and the London Electric Vehicle Company. Burgess will report to Peter Horbury, the executive VP of design at Geely, and it wouldn't surprise us if Mr. Burgess is being groomed to replace Mr. Horbury. Honda's Australian subsidiary had a little fun celebrating its 50th birthday by wrapping some of its products in gold. You likely see the color red when you're thinking about a Honda lawnmower or generator, but even Honda admits everyone who's seen it wants one. You know, there are probably 3 or 4 car brands that are not going to survive in the U.S. market, and we'll tell you who they are coming up next.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone Tires, your journey, our passion. Dow Automotive Systems, advanced materials that deliver better results. And by ExxonMobil.
Electrify America will install Tesla PowerPack battery storage systems at more than 100 of its charging stations throughout the U.S. in 2019. Each site gets a 210 kilowatt battery system with roughly 350 kilowatt hours of capacity. The power packs can be used during times of peak demand to reduce stress on the grid. And speaking of Tesla, it just bought a company called Maxwell Technologies, which has expertise in supercapacitors, which are good at charging and discharging large amounts of electricity very quickly. Tesla hopes to use that technology to greatly speed up charging times. And you know, it's amazing how charging times are becoming the new metric for EV performance. Even Porsche is bragging more about how fast its charging stations are than it's bragging about how fast its EVs are. Scion was the last brand to get killed off in the American market, but we think there's probably 3 or 4 other brands that are not going to survive. First on the list is the Smart brand. We wonder why Mercedes-Benz keeps the Smart brand on life support. Last month, Smart only sold 83 cars, so what's the point? Next on the endangered species list is Fiat, which only sold 751 cars. We wonder how the dealers can possibly keep their doors open. In fact, Alfa Romeo doesn't look very healthy either. It only sold 1,150 vehicles, down 30% compared to a year ago. Mini is another brand that's going wobbly. It sold 2,457 cars last month, But that only works out to about 19 cars per dealer on average, which means it's got to be a money loser. There's one other brand that's struggling, and that's Genesis. It only sold 1,224 cars last month, down 24% compared to a year ago. But 2018 was a disaster for Genesis, and it's starting to get its act together. If you compare sales to December, they're up 107%. And if Genesis keeps that up all year, it's the one brand on this list that has a shot at surviving. Coming up next, Ford expects to make massive profits on a new truck line, and we'll show you those trucks right after this. There's a drop of 1.3%. 7 of the top 10 selling models in 2018 were K cars, including the top 4. Toyota was the top automaker in Japan last year, followed by Honda, Suzuki, Daihatsu, and Nissan. GM and Ram recently showed off their new heavy-duty trucks, so naturally, it's Ford's turn. The 2020 F-Series Super Duty debuted today with updated styling and a number of new features. A Ford-designed and built 7.3-liter V8 gasoline engine has been added to the lineup, while the 6.7-liter Power Stroke diesel is upgraded with more power and torque. Both engines will be mated to a 10-speed automatic. All trucks receive new front-end designs that allow for better cooling and lighting performance. And for the first time, dual rear-wheel trucks are fitted with a unique high airflow grille. In addition to new and enhanced trailering technologies, 4G connectivity is standard, as is driver assist features like automatic emergency braking on XLT trims and above. The new Super Duty will start shipping to dealers this fall. And we're also headed out to Flint, Michigan today, where the all-new Silverado HD is built. We're going to learn more about that truck, and we'll have more news on that tomorrow. But that wraps up today's report. Thanks for watching, and please join us again tomorrow.